Hey guys, LegoMaster365 here, and welcome to another review on another model. It's also February, so welcome to the second month of 2022. This model has been highly anticipated by everyone, and when it was revealed, people were slightly disappointed by it. But either way, I'm here to actually review the model for you guys, and the engine itself is none other than the brand new Bachmann Origins James. So, I got this model at Oaks when I went to the train show, obviously, and, well, I almost paid full price for it. So it wasn't the best deal for this engine. I paid $100 for it, which for a Bachmann Thomas & Friends item, nonetheless a James that is just fully painted in black, not the best price for an engine. But I'm going to give it its fair shot, and I'm going to show you the perks and downsides of this engine, and then I'm going to show you what you can do to make this engine just a little bit better. So let's get into the review. So here is James in the flesh. Now, right off the bat, it looks okay. That's really the best I can say about this engine, because it is James, but as most people won't recognize him in a black livery. So, I'm really not going to be like one of those people who explains why he's in a black livery, but because you guys already know, this is the Adventure Begins James. This is how he looked in the books, this is how he looked in the Adventure Begins special, which is what this model is based off of, hence why he has the number 5 on his tender. But yeah, there's really not a lot to say about the origins of this engine, or the origins of Origins James, because you guys really know where it comes from. So, really what makes this engine stand out is the fact that it is the Origins James. It's not red like the normal James. It has red lining, but it's not, the main color isn't red. There isn't anything different about this engine. There's no open cab like the regular James has, like a closed cab. It's still closed off, but it looks like the prop, and I'll show you guys a picture of the prop so you guys can see Bachmann is surprisingly accurate on their HO scale James, and I find that hilarious. This engine has some of the new European style, or the new fixes that Bachmann is rolling out for the UK releases, and they're doing it on the US engines too. And the main thing the main things that really are the couplers being a lot thicker, and the lamp irons being a lot thicker because they're supposedly choking hazards. So, that's really the only main difference about this engine from the regular Bachmann James. The dome is still always kind of funky. It's never really straight on the engine like it should be, but I don't know. That's just how it happens. So, another main difference, which is really weird and doesn't look great in my opinion, is the running board, because I'm not sure if you can really tell on the camera on first inspection, but the running board is much darker than the usual engine, because here is a regular Bachmann Thomas next to James, and you can see that the running board is a whole lot lighter than the Bachmann Thomas. And to show you that this isn't like, oh, it's just an old engine, and this is a new one, and maybe they're rolling out in their other engines, here is the LBSC Thomas, together with the Origins James. You can see the running board is a whole lot darker. This is a color that we've never seen on any Bachmann engine ever. I don't know why they decided to do it now, but here we are. This is how it looks now. Also, here's the LBSC Thomas with the Origins James, just because, the two engines were in the Adventure Begins. This is where they both come from. So, here they are together. Now, the main point of contention with this model is on the tender. So what is the issue with the tender? Well, the front looks fine. This side looks fine. This side looks fine. Well, that's because of the lamp. Bachmann did go ahead and put a lamp on the engine, or on the tender. The only problem is that the lamp is printed, and it is very haphazardly done. It's a good artist's impression, it's a good rendering of the lamp, but it's just, every time we've had an engine with a lamp, it's always been a physical lamp. James's headlamp is a physical lamp. The LBSC Thomas's lamp is a physical lamp. And I have two more examples here. And Thomas, his backlamp also is a physical lamp that they actually painted red to match The Adventure Begins. So if we have Thomas and we have James here, their lamps here. I'll actually just put James's tender so you guys can see just the main differences, because I brought a few engines to show you guys examples of. We have, the Origins James with the printed lamp. We have the LBSC Thomas with the full lamp. And also, by the way, they both have rear lining, which is something we haven't seen on engines yet. So it's nice to at least see the red lining, which is new, but the lamp really brings it down. We have the Bachmann Percy, which is one of their older models, or older molds, which has a physical lamp. And we have Oliver, one of the newer engines, who has a physical lamp. And it looks exactly like this lamp, but it's not printed. It is a physical item. So if we have these 4 engines, and I think Toby also probably has a physical lamp on his tail. I don't remember, but I'll put like a little caption like on the bottom if I'm wrong or not. But if all these engines have physical lamps, why did Bachmann get so lazy with James and give him a printed lamp? Well, I posted this to Twitter a while ago, and most people, or I think some people said that the reason they did this was because of the manufacturing process of James, because all these engines are made in China, hence the the things on the bottom say like made in China and stuff like that on the retaining plates. So to give James a physical lamp would have to change the mold process, because Bachmann is notorious for their injection molds. You can actually, I just noticed this, you can see the injection mold on James's boiler right there. It's pretty obvious. So they didn't add a lamp because they would have to drill a hole and add a physical lamp into it, because that's how they do it with their other engines. They drill a hole into it and they put the lamp in. There are holes in Thomas where you have to take off the lamp. On my customized Thomas, I replaced the lamp, and you can see on this Thomas that there is a big hole where the lamp goes over, if I can get it off. There's a really big gaping hole where the lamp used to go. Now there's a Shapeways lamp in here that looks just a little bit better. So, this just really annoys me. And I really wish that Bachmann either just didn't do the lamp altogether or actually went ahead and made some way that you could have the lamp on the model as well. Like, even just gluing it on, I think would have been a little bit better. Now, that also would have introduced the problem that people would have been complaining that their lamps are not dead on, because if you're just gluing it straight on, there's going to be glue marks all over the back, there's going to be possibly misaligned lamps, and it's just another piece that can break off the engine that people will start complaining about. If they didn't add a lamp at all, like if they just left the tender alone, people probably wouldn't be complaining about the lamp. I'm just trying to connect the tender so I don't have to hold it anymore. If they didn't include the lamp at all, people wouldn't be complaining about the lamp. And I think it would have been fine without the lamp. Now, The Adventure Begins did show James with a tail lamp on his tender, but it's just not necessary for the engine, especially these engines too, because these lamps really would have only been if they were running light. And for most engines, you're going to be running them with a train. If you're going to have The Adventure Begins James, most kids are going to be recreating the big crash that happened in that movie. You're not going to be needing a lamp behind James because he's not going to be running a light engine. He's going to be pulling train cars, whatever kids have lying around, like whatever train cars kids have lying around, they'll just put onto James, and you won't need the lamp necessarily behind his tender. So with this out of the way, I'm going to show you guys what you can do to improve the tender on the Origins James. So let's get into that. Alright, and here's what I did to the Bachmann Origins James to make it look just a little bit better. So the first thing I did was I went in with a paint pen and just covered up the old lamp on the tender as best I could, trying not to do any damage to the lining. And then I went and let that sit and dry, and then I moved on to the face. So the first thing I did was I took an X-Acto knife and just plucked the face off with that, and then I tried to remove the iMech with a pair of pliers, and I quickly realized that wasn't going to work. I actually pulled out one of the eyes before even, continuing. So I went in and undid the base plate so I could get to the screw that held in the iMech. I completely forgot about that. So I took out the screw, I took out the iMech, and then I replaced the face with a stand-in 3D printed face by Rexecutions that I use for my regular filming James. I do plan on getting him his own set of faces soon, but right now he's just going to use my regular James as a donor face. Then I came back and did a little bit more work on the tender just to make sure, like, you know, the paint was all nice and covered up and it looked really nice. And then I went and installed the Percy lamp, which is what I used for the lamp. I just scraped off a bit on the back that, you know, was like a plug into the Percy body, and bada bing bada boom, there is your customized James with a physical lamp and a 3D printed face. So here is the new and improved Origins James. So there were really only two mods really that I did to this engine. The first one was giving it a Classic Series styled face using the face by Rexecutions, which you can get on Shapeways. I'll put a link to it in the description if you want to get one for just a regular James or you want to get one for this James. I'm going to get a third set of faces for this James just so that he can have his own set of faces, because this smiling face belongs to my regular running red James. He's currently wearing a smug face, so he's not faceless right now. But this one's just wearing his happy face until I can get him his own set. The second set I have belongs to, well, it doesn't belong to, but it's the red nose, bee stung nose James, you know, that one. So in the future I'm going to get him his own set of faces just so they don't have to share sets of faces. And then on the tender, as you saw before, I blacked out the original lamp and I put on this other lamp that belonged to a Bachmann Percy, my old Bachmann Percy that I own. It's a bit chunky, honestly, in my opinion, like a lot chunkier than like the regular like Thomas lamp. So I'm probably in the future going to get another Shapeways lamp so I can put it on this James instead of just having this bulky one, and also probably cover more of the paint that had to cover up the original lamp. And there is currently a gap in the lining where the lamp, you know, had to cover the lining. So I might cover that up with my own strips of lining in the future, but for right now it's going to stay like this. So that is that's my review on the brand new Origins James. I'm not going to do a running session with him just because it is a regular Bachmann James. It's loud, it can't pull that much. You guys know the whole deal with the regular James engine. So with that out of the way, here are the two Adventure Begins Bachmann engines together. I am going to give him his own Classic Series faces as well, but that's going to be a future project. So with all that out of the way, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this review on the Origins James. If you did, go leave a like and subscribe to the channel because I'm going to be doing more reviews, and I just have my own videos coming up, and I will be using these two in a very special video that is coming up later this year. So if you guys want to see these two engines in action, do subscribe so you guys can see them when the video comes out. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!